And first, a controversial professor at the University of Pennsylvania says 9/11 was an inside job. He also claims NATO framed Slobodan Milosevic, and he's tried to convince his colleagues that the United States is a secret enemy of Israel. How far should academic freedom go? Joining us now in a Hannity and Combs exclusive is Professor Francisco Gil White. Professor, thank you for being with us. Are you concerned, in the wake of what happened with War Churchill, about your own academic freedom?
Well, I think there's been a misunderstanding. I'm being fired from the University of Pennsylvania for defending Israel and for documenting that the accusations against the Serbs were fabrications. My course, Psychology of Ethnicity, has been canceled because I document how academic psychologists attack blacks using phony IQ tests. Nobody has objected to anything I have ever said about 9/11. It's got nothing to do with that.
The school is not saying that. The school is claiming that that is not why you're being fired, that it's not because of the content of your class, and that it's nothing to do with your free speech, that you had been given a one-year extension. They're now not continuing that, but they are denying that what you said is true.
Well, I was not expecting the university to confess, but shortly after I went public with the threats that I had been receiving from senior faculty member Paul Rosen, telling me to stop publishing material defending Israel and defending the Serbs, or I would lose my job. Shortly after I published those threats and explained what they had been doing to me, I received anonymously in my mailbox the secret documents that were used in the reappointment process. And I have here with me the letter that Ian Lustig, who's a professor in the political science department, not the psychology department,
right,
wrote to the psychology department chairman explaining that my political views on Israel and on Serbia...
Well, you accused him of being an agent, didn't you? You accused the professor you just mentioned of being an agent of U.S. intelligence working to undermine Israel, according to the stories that have come out about this.
That's right. That's inaccurate. I have never accused Ian Lustig of being an agent of U.S. intelligence. What I did was report what Ian Lustig explains himself on his CV. Ian Lustig, right after he got his Ph.D., got a job at the State Department, at the Bureau of Intelligence and Research, where they make sure that U.S. intelligence activities further U.S. foreign policy. And after that, Ian Lustig also explains in his CV he has been a consultant for the National Security Council, the National Security Agency, the CIA, and so forth.
Mr. Gil White, Sean Hannity here. Did you or did you not call the September 11 terrorist attacks an inside job, sir?
Yes, but that has nothing to do with why I'm being fired.
Hang on a second. Did you or did you not write articles alleging that NATO framed Slobodan Milosevic?
Yes, I did. I have an article.
Hang on, I'm not here to dispute these. I want to get your track record on the record. Did you or did you not try to convince your colleagues that the United States is a secret enemy of Israel, sir?
Yes.
Okay. You're right. They're saying that this has nothing to do with those opinions, but I want to address those opinions. You really say that there's an inside job about 9/11? Explain your little theory here.
Look, I am not a 9/11 scholar. What you should do is get Jared Israel here. He's the chief editor of Emperor's Close, tenc.net. He's probably the world's
But you said 9/11 was an inside job. You just admitted to me. What do you mean when you say it's an inside job?
Well, the reporter for the Philadelphia Inquirer, Patrick Kirkstra, asked me whether I agreed with the views expressed on Emperor's Close concerning 9/11. Yeah. I haven't done any real research on 9/11. Jared Israel has. I agree with his conclusions, and that is indeed the core of his argument.
Yeah, look, you have every right to do it, but you know something? You ought to know, you're a professor, there's no constitutional right for you to work at a particular campus. They don't have to hire you. What the university is saying is that there are questions that have emerged about your researching, about your teaching techniques, about your ability to get along with your colleagues. There are parents that are upset that these fringe opinions of yours, they don't want their kids indoctrinated into your point of view. Certainly you ought to understand that they have every right to say you don't meet the standards we want at this university. Why wouldn't you just accept that?
Well, I think you're laboring under a misunderstanding. Nobody has ever objected to anything I have ever said about 9/11, and I don't talk about 9/11 in my courses.
I understand that, but what they're saying, I just got done telling you that their complaint is about your researching, your teaching, your ability to get along with your colleagues. For for example, when you asked, that it was reported, the department curriculum, a list of questions and concerns about a course, you refused to address them, they say. Is that true?
No, that's false.
They're lying in the paper?
Yes, the Philadelphia Inquirer article is replete with inaccuracies. There's almost nothing true in it.
Yeah.
When I received a list of complaints about my course, Psychology of Ethnicity, it was clear that the complaints were two. Main complaints were two. One, that I had been teaching my students about how academic psychologists throughout the 20th century, who were propagandists for the American eugenics movement, had been making up their...
We're just out of time, Professor. I appreciate your coming on the program, sir. Thank you very, very much.